I'm here with Laurie Mense, the county clerk, and the biggest thing from tonight's county board meeting really was the proposed fee increases, basically kind of across the board for all kinds of different licenses and all that. Can you just tell us what exactly the increases are for each kind of license?
Well, I'm the county clerk as well as the county recorder, and in larger counties those are separate offices, and that's why two separate ordinances are required to address their fees and their schedule of fees. The fees that we address tonight are those that are referred to and regulated through the statutes. Several years ago, there was an amendment to the statute allowing the notary fees to go up and the assumed name fees to go up, and those fees had been statutory maximum at $5 for longer than I've been with the county, and I've been here for over 2 decades. The last cost fee study done was in 2003, and that's the last time the fees were raised based on just the county's input. Now there are state mandated fees which we're required to collect as well for the vital records. On every certification that we issue, there's a $2 state mandated electronic death certificate surcharge fee, and there's also a $2 COLDF fee which goes towards the cemetery funds. Now the state uses those funds to help support regulation and research and things regarding the laws that govern those documents. The county's fees are going up to $18 for certifications of marriages and births and $6 for each additional copy of those records. And that will put us pretty comparable to our 4 adjoining neighbors. We're actually cheaper than most. Sangamon County, I suspect, has not had a fee study for some time because their rates are falling farther behind. Our tax redemption fees are also going up, and it will make us it'll tie us for 3rd place out of 5 bordering counties, with Sangamon again having the lowest. Our recording fees are going up again, but again those are the first increases we've had since 2003, and we have become much more technologically dependent. Like, we image everything now as opposed to when we used to do takeoff copies every day. So the county saved a lot of money on how many photocopies we were running, the wear and tear on the machinery as well as the paper involved. But then you have to maintain the electronic images and the software. And we implemented last year, when I first took office, we implemented a replication fee, or a replication of all recorded documents. I took office December 1st of 2014, and by Martin Luther King Day, the recording server had crashed, and we almost lost all our documentation back to the beginning of the county, which is just till 1839. So it made a born-again believer out of me regarding replication. So we have lifetime replication, takes place off-site, and there are subscription fees for access to Laredo and some of the other products after hours, which offset the cost of those replication fees. The county is strapped, as most governmental agencies are. Our bills always go up, as every taxpayer always points out to me, and I always remind them I am a taxpayer too, and I'm fully aware. But the costs go up at a much greater rate than the income does. So by raising the fees, as opposed to just trying to go for a tax increase, the fees put the burden of the cost of maintaining the systems on the people who are actually utilizing the system. We'll still receive property taxes to help supplement the cost of the office, but it'll take part of it off of the property taxes and put it into a fee base that's more user related. And bear in mind, not everybody who is ever born here or married here or recorded instruments here continues to reside here. So when they have to get certifications of those birth records or marriage records or a family member's death record to clear a title or to just for a family history, those records remain here. So some of those fees will come to us from people who are not Christian County residents, which will help us take some of the burden outside our borders.
Okay, and you mentioned it that, one of the things brought up is that not just Christian County, every governmental body is strapped for cash in the state right now. How are these fee increases going to help your office's budget and the county's budget as a whole?
Well, as they noted in the board meeting tonight, the company that provided the fee study, by law, I can't simply just raise those fees. I have to have what's called a cost fee study done first, which determines how much actual cost there is in the preparation and the maintenance of those records and the systems by which we retrieve them. And then that cost becomes a factor of how much I'm allowed to collect. Well, as we said, we've been operating on deficit budgets for years, and as the circuit clerk had noted, for the majority of us, the majority of our budgets are personnel related and the costs involved as an employer for taxes and insurance and all of that, the benefits involved. I am at when I started 20 years ago, there were 8 full-time staff members as well as a chief deputy and a clerk. And I currently have 5 full-time staff members, a chief and a clerk. When I started, the deputy clerks ranged in experience from 40 years down to 5 years. And when I took office as clerk in 2014, I had 4 deputy clerks, 2 of whom had less than 2 years experience, 2 that had between 12 and 23 years, and then I had no employees in the payroll and accounts payable department, and my chief deputy hadn't even had her 1-year anniversary. So my office experienced a loss of knowledge and training and experience, for lack of a better term. And to replace those people, you just can't do that. You can't hire someone in off the street and gain all that knowledge. And if you've ever been in business, when you're training, you lose time, not gain time, until that person becomes fully trained. So we've conducted several elections, went through a nasty conversion, and have tried to continue to conduct the county's business. At this time, we haven't had to cut back on services, which we would really hate to do. Until I worked in my office, I didn't realize how many people visit my office or call my office. I don't think I had ever been in the office until I started work there, and my phones ring all day long. There's rarely a day I don't have mail, inquiries from other counties. The county clerk's office conducts a lot of business, and we are in the lives of many of our citizens. And I don't want to be the clerk who has to cut back on the services we offer or only offer them on a rotating basis. We do same-day issuance for records at this time. If you come in and you've got proper documentation, odds are you're going to walk out in 15 minutes with your record. We've always been very proud of that customer service that we provide, and we don't want to diminish it if at all possible. But we know money's money. So I want to make sure that I do everything I can to keep my office as solvent as I can, to keep all the current employees I have, because I truly don't know how I could operate the office if I lose any more. So I'm just trying to protect jobs and provide services and make the cost of operating the office more equitable amongst the citizens.
Okay, and Laurie Mense, the county clerk. Laurie, thank you for your time.
You're welcome.